Retail Mentor Ronnie Pagaspas, SecGen Evelyn Balmeo Salire, at Retail Advocate Bong Magpayo.
Alright, so we're back, and thank you very much for our first two features of the week, especially for the special feature, who's my kababata, and for our brand feature, very interesting, a very proud Filipino brand, Kape Tayo Coffee. Alright, today we shall now get into the major portion of our program, which is the retail topic of the week. Okay, the past 3 years, we saw the significant increase of foreign retailers coming to the country, with a corresponding significant increase in the number of local retailers. We can say that our retail market is really booming. But this goes not without the hurdles in addressing the landscape of the retail business, which is now being so affected so much by technology, usually before represented by POS machine, but now for the borderless IT solutions. A major obstacle observed was almost the standard IT footprint of multiple systems to cater to various processes in each retailing company. So this reality created the need for systems integrations, the complex business processes, and being affected really by the slow reporting and analysis capability, and in many situations, the lack of control, process, and inventory. Today, a global innovator of IT is our guest, who represents a foreign branded solution for the retailers. Okay. Our guest is one from the land of the, Nordics and Vikings, no? So, for those who love to eat food, this one is a different Viking, no? From Sweden, where he acquired a degree on International Marketing Management from IHM Business School. And since graduation, he wore his marketing hat in his homeland till he decided to be in the Philippines 10 years ago. Later on, we'll know why he went to the Philippines and why he is staying for the longest time here. So currently, he's the president of NORCHAM, or Norvik Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. And today, he is the CEO of Retail Associates Corporation. Please welcome, retail audience, Mr. Bo Lundqvist.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes, did I pronounce your surname right?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, in Sweden...
That'll be your first Swedish word. No?
Oh, yeah, the Q is being pronounced as K.
K, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so, well, I think we now go to our serious discussion, because we've noticed that the supply chain of retail seems to be longer and broader daily. Because with the onset of the different different IT solutions being offered to the industry, what is now your stake in this kind of development?
Well, I think as you get into supply chain, these days we talk about channels. In the old days we talked about stores, maybe different format of stores. Nowadays we talk about different channels. We sell our goods on web, we sell our goods over... You can't hear me? Is that better? All right. So these different channels will really put down a lot of strain on supply chain management. At the end of the day, dependent on these channels and the channels that you serve, you got to have a supply chain that actually backs up the delivery of your goods to your customers. And add to that customers these days do expect very real-time engagements from basically the onset of visiting your store, your website, your Facebook site, or whatever it is, until the actual delivery of goods, whether that is click and collect, whether that is something they buy in the store, or having delivered to their doorstep. So supply chain is really more important than it has ever been before, I think, in retail.
Yes, so mean to say, when you say that the channels are different from one another, mean to say the IT solutions being offered to each channel will differ from one another.
Right. So today you obviously need a very robust kind of back end to make sure that you manage these channels and serve your customers as they would expect. And that becomes very complicated as we deal with either integrating multiple best-of-breeds applications or implementing more end-to-end kind of offerings, which is what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, basically the supply chain will consist of from the ordering to the inventory management to the POS, and then to the maybe promotions, and then going down to the customer fulfillment or loyalty. So with the IT now being so embraced by the whole of the industry, how do you think the game has changed in the way addressing or managing this channels?
Well, so I would just want to add to that a very important step, which is the replenishment.
Yes.
So the key to managing this is actually to understand what goods needs to be present in what location or what channel at what point in time. And the retailers that are really good at managing their replenishment and the replenishment strategy and the whole science of replenishment are the retailers that actually going to make any money. So to do that, you have to have a very integrated, a very tight kind of connection between the systems that you use and the processes that you put in place to order, to plan, to do promotions, as you mentioned, all the way down to how you actually sell it and how you report these sales and these inventory quantities, and then do your replenishment. So all of that's got to kind of tightly fit together, which is quite difficult.
Yes, but our replenishment is more or less influenced by some predictive manner. Because you ought to know the cycle or the sales turnover per area, per store. In that case, we will now go down to the knowing your customers on the line.
Right. Yes. So replenishment that is very core is basically understanding what kind of goods do I need to have in place in what channel or outlet at what point in time to meet the demand of our customers. I don't want to have too much. I don't want to have too little.
Yes.
That's the science of it. The basics of that is the store manager kind of calling up an ordering store or sending an Excel file. More sophisticated retailers put in software that actually deals with seasonality, with certain algorithms, they deals with sales history, etc. And based on all of that, you can scientifically prove what needs to be where.
Yes. Now, I just would like to add that, meaning to say this really technology has changed a lot of the game because now you have to be knowing your customers up to the point of knowing what do you want, where you are. It's not really where they will be going, but where they are now, because they're holding on to the channel, which is the mobile media.
Right. Yes. So, to mention something on that, I think in the old world we talked about loyalty programs, and basically you buy something from me, I give you a few points back. That's really old school. What I'm looking at right now is basically knowing you, Rolly, as my customer personally. I want to. As a retailer, I want to know your age, your income. I want to know where you live. I want to know your preferences. I want to know something about your family. I want to know where your kids go to school. If I know all these factors, I can then basically market my goods and services, whatever it is I do, specifically to you. And that personal kind of relationship is really where retail is going.
You mean to say it's really a thing called mass customization?
It is mass personalization.
Mass personalization.
To the point of sharing something. I attended the big retail show in New York a few months ago, and what they're looking at right now is sensors that you have an app on your phone, and I have sensors in my store, and those sensors will track where you go in my store and what you look at. So even without you actually buying anything from me, by you running this app on your phone, I will know basically what part of my store you're interested in. So when you walk out of my store, I can send you a special offer saying, I saw that you looked at my jeans, and guess what? Here's a $20 coupon if you go back into my store. Yeah.
They will be running after you, even though you will not give them that attention.
Correct.
Yes. All right. So, now let's change the hat you're wearing. So, as the CEO of Retail Associates, what are the products that you provide to the industry?
So we deal with a product called LS Retail. LS Retail is actually a Microsoft-based Icelandic product.
Adding Nordic product.
more Vikings, right? Yeah. So LS Retail's been around for 25 years. It is very established in Europe. Large brands using it. I introduced it here 10, 11 years back. And the difference, the differentiator is the end-to-end scenario. So when we go in and talk to retailers, we talk to them about the entire process. Everything from marketing, from promotions, down to their purchasing, supply chain management, warehousing, manufacturing, if you like, all the way to finance and stores. So we implement an entire solution, single database, single footprint, single solution.
Okay. Can we have some of the pictures so that we can describe more thoroughly the services or the solutions that Retail Associate is offering the industry? Yeah. So
that is
That is the logo.
That is the logo of LS Retail.
Okay.
That's right.
So that is the mother program or mother
That is
solution.
the
Or the-
solution, which is basically, yes, an end-to-end enterprise retail management solution.
Okay.
So typically geared towards kind of larger type of retailers that are omni-channel based, retailers that typically do their own supply chain and perhaps even their own e-commerce, as in e-stores, business-to-business, B2C, that kind of retailer.
Right, and then you now just make it some arrangements so that it can fit a particular customer.
Yeah, so then we can also go in and customize it. So every retailer is unique. No program will have a standard fit, right? So we also go in and deep dive into the code and do specializations for certain customers and the way to do business. Yeah.
I have a question, but this one is really coming from a retailer because I've been
Because you are a retailer.
my career has been a retailing executive for the past 30 years now.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the rate or level of acceptance of this technology by the common stakeholders of retail?
I think that very few retailers, let's just remember that retailing is typically entrepreneur-based. Even the larger brands here, the SMs, etc., are still started with an entrepreneur at one point in time.
So I mean to
right?
say, who's the father figure? He will remain to be the chairman, president for the
And
longest
that's
time.
very typical for retail, more than maybe other industries, right?
Yes.
So let's just, most retailers start their business very small, and then they grow, and what happens there is that when you start a business, you got to manage your cost. IT is perhaps not the first thing that you want to pour in money into. What you want to do is open as many stores as possible, so cash flow starts coming in, right? Where I see is part of the issue there, and maybe a recommendation is that as these businesses start growing, there is a really point in time where IT has to take a forefront. It has to change from basically being an necessary evil into something that should really drive the business. And I think I see quite a few retailers that kind of miss that train
Yes.
until they're so large, until they have so many stores that all kinds of issues start cropping up because you do not have an IT solution to kind of back you up. And that's when it becomes expensive as well to start getting into computerization because you're a large retailer already. Yeah.
So are you telling that most of the traditional retailers didn't go into or embracing the technology because they fear some huge costs getting
Yes.
on the way?
Yes, because it is, if you want to do this seriously, if you want to manage these channels seriously, and you want to set up an IT infrastructure, you're going to have to put in some quite serious money into it.
Okay, but now that supporting role is now becoming a starring role if you want really to take advantage and be on the forefront of the competition.
Absolutely.
Yes. So this 2017, what do you think is the outlook for retailing in terms of this technology thing?
Well, thankfully, Philippines has been doing good for the past 5-6 years. It still continues to do good. With a good economy, with a kind of growing middle class, we will see retail growing as well. There is more Filipinos with money to spend, which is a really good thing for retail, right? So you will still see new formats, new coffee stores perhaps growing, but you will also see the more established retailers kind of growing. Customers of ours are even looking at exporting Philippine brand outside the Philippines. So I can only see growth for the Philippine industry.
Wow.
We talk to a lot of Filipino Filipino retailers that are serious about their growth, and they realize that also with foreign brands coming in, IT will be part of the sort of weaponry they need to fight their way through a lot more competition. So
Yes.
I personally, I can sense that a lot more retailers realize that IT and IT solutions and integration of whatever it is that they have, maybe looking at the cloud as one way of
Yes.
growing, is something that retailers take seriously today in the Philippines.
Yes, so I think so. I agree with you completely. And so that's one challenge to all the retailing audience now hearing us or watching us live here in our teleradio of Talk.Shop.Asia. So thank you very much, Bo,
Thank you.
and for that very informative insights about retailing and about your company. I think it's also one of the leading supplier or provider of this technology in the retailing industry. We welcome you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, sa aming pagbabalik, we shall now be on with our weekly management insight, and together we shall see all our panelists together here in the counter of Teleradyo Inquirer. Sa aming pagbabalik.